If we can get a 3D printer from China for $320, why bother build one for $600? This is what goes into building a 3D printer from scratch. Come along for the ride. Did you ever wonder what goes into a 3D printer? How much it costs to build one? We have been designing a 3D printer from scratch. This build log is gonna be all about the bill of materials for this 3D printer. How much does it cost? And why do we bother build one if you can buy one for half the price? So this is what we are looking at building. We are gonna go through the bill of materials for this printer. And we're gonna look at what the costs are for the components and for the hardware. And this might be an awesome project for you this winter, so follow along. If you're into custom 3D printers, like upgrading your own, build a new 3D printer from a current one. If you have an Ender 3, if you have an Ender 5, if you have a Creality CR10, you can use them. You have the motors, you have many of the parts we need to build this printer. Then it will be cheaper. So let's just dig in and see what's going on. Let's move on to Aliexpress and see. So this is what it looks like on Aliexpress right now. You can get an Ender 5. I'm not sure what kind of printer this is. I think it's a Cartesian printer, but it's framed all over the place. So I think we have a moving bed. I'm not sure. I don't know this printer. If you have an Ender 5, let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it a good printer? Is it value for the money? Would you consider building a custom coreXY for twice the price, $600? Let me know. So here is the new printer we are building, and we are gonna look at all the parts going into this printer and what they cost. Next week I will order parts for a new printer and start building it. I will do a build log. If you would like to build this printer yourself, then hit subscribe and follow the series while we are building this together. It's gonna be a really fun project, something you can do during the fall or winter. So this is sort of the final look of the printer. We might add some panels on the sides here just to enclose it a little bit, just to make it even more desktop friendly. Enclosing it will be optional. So this is sort of the base frame. I mean, just the aluminum. So here you can see the bill of materials for the base frame. We have 4 V-slots in the X direction. We have 4 V-slots in the Y direction, which are tapped. We have 5 V-slots in the Z direction and 1 X-axis V-slot. Also for the bed frame, we are using 3 V-slots. Also we need 18 wheels. We need 30 corner brackets and fasteners. We have some prices here. These are preliminary prices. So from Open Builds, I do have a price at the base frame, all final cut and tapped and with wheels and brackets. Fasteners not included at this point. Aliexpress, we are looking at cutting yourself, tapping yourself at a little bit lower price. So this is sort of the next level in the build, where we add all these brown parts are printed. They are assembled at the same time as the base frame, as we use these printed parts to align all the extrusions. And also we have the worm gear, and we have the upper belt idler. We also have the upper belt anchor in the front, and of course the idler brackets at the back. As far as components go, there are not so much here. We have the extruder. They have the 3 NEMA motors, we have some GT2 parts, we have the idlers on the corners and for the belt. Also we have the motor pulleys. This motor pulley has 8mm bore, which is important for this build. These motor pulleys are 5mm bore as per normal for NEMA 17. Looking at the X-axis, we have lots of stuff going on. We of course also here have smooth idlers, we have toothed idlers. We have lots of wheels, a lot of fasteners, and hot end. We have some fans. So this is what I call the bed assembly, which consists of 1 transverse V-slot and 2 longitude V-slots. A lot of fasteners and some wheels, some idlers, and of course the heated bed. I like the bed to be heavy and thick, so I opted for a 5mm bed, but you can use your Ender bed or your Prusa bed or something. In the stock bill of materials, we also use a silicone heater pad, 4 or 500 watts. So for electronic, we have of course the SKR 1.3 controller. If you want to use a Duet or something else, that's fine as well. If you have a controller you want to use, then please do. We have 24 volt 240 watt power supply, and we have the solid state relay for switching the heat bed. We also have a fused switch on the side here, and we have of course the driver cooling fan, which is very important. Also added a couple of outlet fans on the rear panel. You can use 1 or 2. So what components do we need and how much do they cost? So this bill of materials will of course be released, so you have to wait till later in August. We want to do the beta build and do proper quality control before we release it for the public. You can also have early access to these files by supporting me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Also subscribe is awesome. The links in the list are all affiliate links, and they are from trusted sources which I have been buying from before. So the board, 20 bucks. LCD controller, 15 bucks. We have 2 Trinamic drivers, 15 bucks. 2 Allegro drivers, 2 bucks. Some fans, 13 for 12. These are not the cheapest fan. You want some good fans for this printer. You don't want it to be noisy, that's important. Optical end stop, a leveling pro, optional at this point. 27 bucks for the silicone heater, or 40 for the genuine Kenovo heater. Solid state relay, safety fuse for the heat bed. We have hot end, 16 bucks. Extruder, 20 bucks. Power supply, 20 bucks. Power switch, 850. We have gates, timing belt, 14 bucks for 5 meter. We have good quality timing pulleys, 14 bucks. For idlers we are looking at about 23 bucks, and if you want to go for the expensive ones, 45 bucks. 3 stepper motors, 30 bucks. Worm gear including stepper, 37 bucks. Heat bed, 16 bucks, 5mm 220 by 220. If you want to go for a clever 3D fine milled aluminum tooling plate, 30 bucks. Taxes are not included in this list. So this is a complete list of what you need for a 3D printer, a coreXY 3D printer. So it's more expensive to build a coreXY than the typical Cartesian printer. Can get these components cheaper also from China. I don't recommend that. For components in total, we are looking at about 320 bucks. And that's kind of strange when we can buy the Ender 5 for 320 bucks. Is it any point building this printer? And what is the total cost then? Because we have not yet looked at fasteners. So here's the list of fasteners, and I'm not going to go through each and every one. We are looking at about 715 fasteners. We are looking at about 7150. Typically you buy a little bit more than you need because they tend to get lost. So let's just say 80 bucks. So in total we are looking at about from $500 to $600. Cable management and tools are not included in this price. You can add at least 50 bucks for cable management. Then we are looking at the 550 to 625 range. Why do we want to build this printer for 600 bucks when we can get the Ender 3 for 320? Is it any point? Should we ditch the project? Should we just order 2 Ender 5s? I'm sure it prints fine. Of course, I'm not gonna give up this project now. It's awesome. It's the best project ever. We're gonna build a lot of them. It's fun, and you can put whatever component you want into the printer. You can put something you have into the printer. You can order high-end Duet stuff, 0.9 steppers from E3D. You can build one for 2,000 bucks, I'm sure. You can build ones also probably for 400. So this is all about DIY, the maker spirit, just making something yourself together with your kids or whatever. Now go melt some plastic.